All right, hello. So I'm here with Coach Waller of the golf team here, and we're gonna film the next episode of the Coach's Corner. So, Coach Waller, how's the season been so far?
Pretty good. The girls have won a tournament. They won a tournament in Athens, North Oconee. Boys and girls both finished second in the Chateau Elan tournament first weekend in March, and the boys just finished third in a match play tournament out at Greenbrier. So we're placing high. We're really young on the boys' side, so they're gaining a lot of experience quickly and hopefully improving towards that state tournament at the end of May.
I know you say you're young, so I'm guessing a lot of seniors graduated last year. And how do you think these young guys have helped the team so far?
We lost 7 seniors off the boys team, and so I've got 15 boys on my team this year, and 14 of them are underclassmen. I've got 1 senior, and then I got 1 junior, and then the rest are sophomores and freshmen. So they're young, and but they're very talented. So it's mostly about just getting them experience and teaching them to learn how to deal with the pressure.
All right, and so what do you think you guys have been learning so far this season?
Mostly it's just, gain experience in situations, being down late in a match, trying to be more aggressive with shots or having a lead and trying to hold on to it. Just dealing with those situational things that you really can't teach somebody unless they're in those situations.
Yes.
So,
and so, like, when they get into those situations, what do you normally tell them? Or
I just try to guide them according to what the situation is. If they're up, we're teaching them, don't take too much unnecessary risk. Play it out in the middle, put the pressure back on the other guy to make great shots. If you're down, be more aggressive, go for it, try to win the match and get back in it. So overall, they've done a real good job with that, and they're getting better every time out.
All right, and so what do you think your best moments have been, like, in the tournaments and in these matches?
Best moments. Carson Langham, who's a first-year golfer for us, he was up early in his match play, got down late, came back, tied it up, and had a 1-hole basically playoff on 18 to try to win it, and ended up winning the match. That was good for him to gain a lot of experience as a first-year guy. Luke Phillips shot even at the Chateau Elan tournament, so that was a good moment. And so there's been a couple of those mixed in, and then of course the girls team is more experienced. They've got 3 of the 4 scorers back from the state championship team last year, so they've had some good moments as well. They're playing well right now. So
yeah. And okay, so who do you think your best players have been this year?
Best players?
Yeah.
They're all good golfers. Luke Phillips has been good. We got an 8th grader who's not eligible for varsity competition, Kyle Wachowski. He's been playing really well. And then on the girls' side, the 3 juniors, and there's a couple of freshman girls that have been playing pretty good. Liza Eubanks and Mary Hunter and Ellie Camp, and then Julia Schaffhauser's been playing good, and Maggie Simone has been playing good. So
okay, and so what do you think this young team means for the future?
Well, obviously it sets up well for us in the future. If we can get enough experience this year, we'll have a chance. I feel good about the girls' chances to repeat. The boys are going to be in a dogfight with Ola and Statesboro, but I feel pretty good that they'll be able to put together a good tournament and compete for it and finish top 3 and possibly win it depending on how well they play. But with a chance to get 14 out of 15 kids back next year, I look forward to the future. It should be good.
All right, and speaking of the future, in the near future, what do you think your most challenging tournament will be?
Well, obviously the state tournament is going to be the toughest. It's got everybody in it. The boys have a tournament at Carrollton, April 13th and 14th, which is a tough tournament. There's a lot of talent from the higher classification, 6A and 7A, that's in that tournament, plus the best teams from 5A. So that'll be a tough one. The girls play a match play with probably the next 3 best girls teams in the state, in Woodward and Columbus and Mill Creek. So that'll be really tough for them. That'll be a good challenge. It always is. So.
All right, and what do you think your players have learned just by watching, like, their teammates succeed and improve throughout the season?
I think the biggest thing that the boys and to some effect the girls, especially the new girls, they've learned just how competitive it is to try to break into that starting six. It's a grind. It's a battle every time. Every time you go out and you play, you got to score and try to improve to get in that starting six on the boys' side or the starting four on the girls' side. And it's tough to do. You got to keep your focus. You got to play well almost every time out. There's not really a whole lot of room for errors. So that's probably the biggest thing they've learned.
All right. And who is your starting six and starting four?
Well, currently, our starting six on the boys' side is Luke Phillips, Mason Mayfield, Bryce Holloway, Tucker Sutton, George Langham, and Drew Bowmill. And that sixth spot is really tight between Drew, Carson Langham, and Brendan Croft. Brendan Croft was in that sixth spot until this past match. On the girls' side, it's pretty. There's a pretty good gap between the top four and the next five. So it's the three juniors, Liza and Mary and Ellie, and then Julia Schaffhauser's the fourth right now, freshman.
All right. And so, what about these these young girls on the other side? I heard you talk about the boys. What about the girls' side? What do you think?
They're learning what it takes to compete in high school golf, because everybody, there's a lot of people that say, oh, I'm pretty good at golf, I can go out and play golf. But it's just different when when you go play with your dad or whoever you play with on a Saturday afternoon game, just kind of playing around. It's a lot different than going out and competing against a peer that is out there trying to beat you. So it's a different field, different type of pressure, and they're learning how to deal with that pressure and still perform. But they're getting better. They're getting better.
All right. And so, what do you think that competitive edge does with your team? Like, do you think that helps them or hurts them?
No, there's no doubt, because we have more than the starting allotment, especially on the girls' side. Maggie's pushing them in that 5-4 spot. She's at 5 right now. There's a couple other girls that are battling, trying to get better because they have to compete to earn those top 4. When they get in actual competition, it's not much of a different feeling. So I think it helps them as far as being able to control their nerves and play under pressure.
All right, and so on both sides of the team, who do you think is going to make it all the way? Like, do you think anyone will make it all the way to the PGA Tour?
It's always hard to say, because kids develop differently, especially on the boys' side. A lot of times boys develop later. But, any of those three, any of the 4, there's 4 or 5 girls, those top 4 or 5, that if they really wanted to, they could play college golf, and who knows after that. I feel pretty good that Luke Phillips is going to play some college golf. He's pretty good. Mason will probably have the opportunity. And there's several other boys that if they choose to stay with it, Bryce and George, they grind pretty good. They'll work hard at it. Brendan Croft works hard at it. Drew does. There's several. Most of the boys, they work hard. If they want to do it, they can. There's just not a whole lot of money out there for the boys' side, but on the girls' side, there's all kind of money. So there's several that have an opportunity to go to that next level if they want to.
All right, cool. So I'll be expecting a green jacket from one of them.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you, Coach Waller.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Thank you.